I'm Sam, an OpenSciEd teacher and facilitator. Whenever I teach this lesson, I'm always surprised by what the kids come up with. If you're running short of time at the end of the unit, you might be tempted to skip this one. And the Facebook groups often agree because it's not strictly required for the final transfer task. But I found that the kids really love it because they finally get to apply everything that they've learned about McKenna to an animal they actually care about. I'm going to show you how to handle the logistics so you can fit this into just one day while keeping it high energy and meaningful. Let's take a look at how we got here. During the last lesson, we built a consensus model to explain how food is rearranged in the body to create energy. And we compared to see how McKenna's symptoms were tied to those metabolic reactions. We figured out that we realized that food molecules are the building blocks for growth and the fuel for energy in humans. In this lesson, we will investigate an organism of our choice to see if it does metabolic reactions similar to the way humans do. We'll use this to answer our lesson question: do all animals do chemical reactions to get energy from food like humans? Let's take a look at a lesson at a glance to see how we'll get our students to answer this question. This is a one-day lesson. There's about 25 minutes of prep time, and really to make this lesson work, you'll want to have the research materials ready to go the moment they walk in and transition quickly from the individual work to the class discussion. There are two loops or chunks that we can break this lesson into to make it more manageable. Let's take a deeper look at those two loops. This is our first loop. In the first loop, we do an animal investigation. Students will research an animal or bacteria using the Gotta Have It checklist from lesson 13 to find evidence of metabolic inputs and outputs. We then move straight into speed sharing before gathering for a final scientist circle. We figure out that whether it's a shark or a butterfly, these animals take in food and oxygen and release carbon dioxide and water to get energy. So now that we've proven that these rules apply to the whole animal kingdom, we're ready to see how much of our original driving question board we can finally clear off. That brings us to loop 2. Loop 2 is really reflecting on this journey. The students complete a progress tracker to summarize our learning from the entire unit and reflect on our original questions on the DQB. What do we figure out? Well, we realize that we've answered almost all of our questions. This success will motivate us to take what we've learned and apply it to something brand new. That's the final transfer task in lesson 15. Let's take a look at some key moments that we can really pinpoint in order to help keep this lesson moving and to help our students get through this lesson. Our first key moment comes in part 2. I'm going to call this the high-speed research. You really want to make sure to keep this no more than 15 minutes. The key is not letting the students getting bogged down. The takeaway for students must be the function. Does the animal take in food? Does it use oxygen? Tell them they have 15 minutes to find their evidence and really move on at that point in time. Have students use their checklist from lesson 13 as their primary data collection tool. It keeps them focused only on the evidence needed for the metabolic argument. You do need to have at least one group choose the bacteria because bacteria is the counterexample. This helps students to see that while all animals get their energy the same way, not all living things do. In part 4, this is the consensus discussion. You're about halfway through the lesson at this point. Don't skip the structure versus function connection. Students need to see that while structures vary, like gills versus lungs, the chemical reaction, which is the function, is the universal constant for all animals. During the science circle, be sure to create a public record of what the class has figured out throughout the science circle. Write down our shared realizations because this ensures that every student leaves with the same big picture. Let's take a look at some materials management tips and tricks that I've had to keep this lesson successful for my students. In part 2, which is the research, I want to emphasize that you really want to make this part high-speed research. This part really does need to go fast. I set a timer to keep my students on task because 15 minutes can really go fast. Use the 7 provided readings to encourage a wide variety of investigations, including fish, crustaceans, insects, reptiles, and amphibians. If a student wants to research an animal that's not provided, be sure to have a pre-vetted reading ready for them to keep this lesson on track. In other words, if you know a student loves cats, have that cat reading ready before this day starts. In part 3, we are asked to do a gallery walk. If you're running short on time, try different strategies like table partners approach or a 2 stray, 1 stays strategy. Instead of a full-scale gallery walk, have students share their organism evidence with someone who studied a different animal to see if the patterns really do hold true across species. That should cut some time. A different approach might be that you cut the gallery walk entirely. As you move into the science circle, have students sit next to someone who studied a different organism. Give them 2 minutes to share their evidence with that one partner before starting the whole class discussion. Finally, in part 6, which is reviewing the DQB, really, if you're still running short on time, allow students to evaluate the questions for home learning, or let them review questions with a partner at the start of the next class. To summarize, while you might be feeling a time crunch, this one-day lesson is the perfect bridge from McKenna to the rest of the world and to helping students see the connection to the transfer task. Keeping this lesson fast-paced makes it feel much more doable. It keeps the momentum going. In the next video lesson, I'll take you through the final assessment. That's all for now. Happy teaching.